Welcome to the City of Bryan Community Development Public Hearing, Thursday, April 16th at 1 p.m. I would like to review the agenda with you. First, we will introduce our community development staff. Then we'll call to order the public hearings. The first public hearing will be about the 5-year plan and the 2020 action plan. The second public hearing will be on fair housing. The third public hearing will be on a substantial amendment to our current annual action plan, from housing assistance to a new economic development program. Our staff, my name is Alcie Bond, and I am the Community Development Director. Art Roach is our Community Development Assistant Director. Martin Caesar is our Housing Specialist. Vicki McCarr is our Rehab Specialist. Blanca Nava is our Program Specialist. Shannon Stricker is our Department Assistant. And Randy Brumley is our Project Specialist. Who are we? We are provided funds by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We administer these funds, Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Funds. In today's public hearing, we will cover during this presentation why these funds are important to the city and how we administer these funds and the approximate amount of the funds for next year. We will also give you an opportunity, when we've completed all of our public hearings, an opportunity to provide public comment. So how do we know what to do? There are federal regulations. We have public input, which we hope that you will provide after our public hearings today. We have a 5-year consolidated plan, which we're in the current process of amending for next year, for the next 5 years, which will be 2020 through 2024. And we have an annual action plan. Then we go to council for council approval, and then we go to HUD for HUD approval. So for the 5-year plan, we do have statutory program guidelines. These include decent housing, suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities. Within the 5-year plan, this shapes what we're going to do in our community. So we provide for a strategic plan, we define our priorities, and we define our goals and objectives. The 5-year planning process consists of the housing planning process and the non-housing planning process. With the housing planning process, we do a lot of preliminary research on the data within our community. We want to customize the plans for what we need to do here in our community toward housing eligible programs and projects. We get community input, we look at all the housing conditions, and then we look at the analysis of impediment and the priorities. On the non-housing plan, we look at the health and social conditions within our city. We ask for public comment, we ask for people to complete surveys, we do meetings, and then we set our priorities. In the last 5 years, our 5-year plan, we did focus on health needs, family needs, and essential needs. Within health needs, our highest priority were mental health, increasing awareness regarding counseling activities, and continuing a need for behavioral health facilities, also dental care. With families, we looked at such things as drug and alcohol abuse, support for elderly people, domestic violence. In the 5-year plan, what we do is, once we gather all the data through the surveys and the different focus groups and the secondary data that we have available through either local, state, or national plans that have already been implemented, we draft a plan. We submit this for public review, and then we submit to City Council. Once it's submitted to City Council, then it will go to HUD for the final approval. After approval, we have requests on an annual basis and reports on an annual basis, and we develop this annual plan and then update the plan as needed. With the action plan, it's very similar to the 5-year plan, except that we're looking at specific projects and programs to fund on an annual basis that complements the guidelines provided in the 5-year plan. Types of housing programs could consist of code enforcement. With housing, we could have owner-occupied housing. We could have down payment assistance. With our public service agencies, that's a process where at least 15% of the CDBG grant is allocated on an annual basis to agencies who serve at least 51% low and moderate income. We could also fund public facility projects, economic development, infrastructure, planning, and of course, admin. With our current annual action plan, we receive $848,059. Next year, we're estimated to receive $841,233. We must meet a national objective. We could take 20% of that CDBG grant for admin and 15% for public service agencies. At least 70% of this grant must go to serve low and moderate income individuals. Our current home grant, which is the Home Investment Partnership Program, which serves only housing programs, is $339,499. Next year, our home funds will be $388,777. So the process itself usually takes several months before we actually submit the draft plan. So we begin in October through December to really look at all the different data, review the regulations, look at what's going on in our community, and try to customize that plan to meet the needs of low and moderate income individuals and families within our city. We currently have housing programs directed towards owner-occupied families. So owner-occupied homes, if you are having an issue, a minor issue or a major issue with your home, you could apply to us for minor repair. That is a grant up to $5,000. And for major reconstruction or rehab, we do provide that as a loan with the potential of having a deferred amount of the entire construction if you meet a certain income qualification or you're elderly. These homes must be located within the city of Bryan, and you must have your taxes paid or be on a tax payment plan. There is an application process, and currently we do have our applications on our website. Here's some examples of different types of projects we've done within the city. In addition to owner-occupied minor repair and reconstruction, we also have a first-time homebuyers program and a demolition program if you own property that needs to come down because it's dilapidated. We do have all of the policies and procedures posted on our website, and you would need to call us for a potential meeting with us in the future. Because all of our grant funds are allocated for different types of programs for a certain income population, this is our income guidelines for you to review. We also fund nonprofit agencies who meet the criteria of low and moderate income. In our area, every year we do utilize the full 15% of our grant through a competitive grant process for those agencies who meet all the eligibility criteria for low and moderate income. We also have the option of providing public facility funding to those agencies within our community who would like to increase the access to their building through a construction project, such as you need to add a sidewalk, or you need to have a roof replaced, or you need to add a computer room. And those applications will be posted on our website as of today, April 16th, and the applications are due on May 8th by 5 p.m. at our office.
As part of the City of Bryan's Community Development Block Grant Program and Home Investment Partnerships Grant Program, we're required to affirmatively further fair housing within the jurisdiction of the City of Bryan. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing because of protected class status, and those protected classes are race, color, national origin, religion, sex, also gender identity for HUD-related projects, family status such as children and age, handicap, or disability. Prohibited under the Act are discriminations such as refusing to rent or sell housing, refusing to negotiate for housing, to make housing unavailable, to deny a dwelling, or to set different terms or conditions for the sale or rental of a dwelling. Also, to refuse to make a mortgage loan, to refuse to provide information regarding loans, to impose different terms or conditions on a loan, or to discriminate in the appraisal of a property, to threaten, intimidate, or interfere with anybody exercising their fair housing rights, known as retaliation, or to disallow association with any protected class. Those who must comply with the Act are property owners, managers, agents, contractors, mortgage lenders and financial institutions, and advertising media, and of course other residents. There are some exceptions. Owner-occupied housing with no more than 4 units, or single-family homes that are sold or rented without the use of a real estate broker, or housing operated by clubs and organizations like fraternities and sororities. If you're discriminated against, please review the city's Fair Housing website and contact the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development or the Texas Workforce Housing Commission Civil Rights Office to file a complaint. You have 1 year to file a complaint from the time that it occurred. Review our website and the presentation data here for the contact information for HUD, and you can also apply online for any housing discrimination cases that may have occurred, or you may download the app from Apple or Android devices that is the HUD Fair Housing Complaint app. The City of Bryan, every 5 years, along with its consolidated plan, conducts an analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, which we call the AI. And what that does is analyze the history and pattern of any discriminatory practices that have occurred in the City of Bryan. There were 15 complaints from HUD to the City of Bryan. All but one were rental related. All were dismissed, withdrawn, conciliated, or found to have no cause. Most complaints regarded discriminatory rental terms and conditions, and the most common basis for complaint was race, followed by disability. Also, the City of Bryan is required to have an affirmative fair housing marketing plan, where if the city's grant funds are used to develop housing units, then those units need to be marketed to those least likely to apply. And so we do special outreach to those organizations such as aid agencies, neighborhood churches, Spanish language radio. We have to maintain records of those outreach efforts, do a periodic assessment, and make that plan available for review. The city is considering a substantial amendment to its 2019 annual action plan. The Citizens Plan requires a public hearing to reallocate funds to a new program, and the city is considering reallocating $150,000 from its community development block grant housing assistance program to a special economic development program which would address current small businesses that have been affected by the coronavirus to assist in the retention of low and moderate income employees. We would invite the public to comment on the contact information on this screen to Community Development Web at bryantx.gov by email, or by our website at www.bryantx.gov/community-development, or comment on our SurveyMonkey website, SurveyMonkey/r-Bryan2020 comment, or call our office at 979-209-5175. Thank you.